the boy's body wasn't discovered until a month after he died in his rental apartment. His body fluids had seeped through the entire mattress. John found an old photo of the boy with his mother and a pile of books by a popular radio host. They carefully packed up the meaningful things he left behind. From the neighbors, they learned the boy was an abandoned orphan, later adopted by a family in New York. But after discovering his congenital heart disease, they gave him up again. 20 years later, he returned to his hometown and found his biological mother, but she refused to see him. Blow after blow, he lost the will to live, and eventually died from heart failure. Since the boy had family in this world, John decided to find his mother and give her his belongings. He carefully taped the torn pages of the books back together and pieced together clues from the items, eventually identifying the mother as a radio host named Han Eun-young. That's why the boy had ripped out every page of her books, to uncover the reason she abandoned him. Early the next morning, they went to the station where Eun-young worked, but without an appointment, security wouldn't let them in, so they waited outside until her shift ended. Finally, they spotted the boy's mother and chased after her. They caught her just before she entered her house and asked if she knew a boy named Jang Chung-moon. Just then, two girls passed by and greeted Eun-young, worried her image might be affected. She agreed to meet them at a quiet cafe. When John broke the news about the boy's death, she claimed she wasn't his mother, which left them stunned. John showed her the photo, and suddenly memories came flooding back. Turns out, Chung-moon had been a foster child at her house when she was just 16. She had adored him, and when he was sent to a new foster home in New York, she had taken many photos to remember him by. So when Chung-moon grew up and found these photos, he mistook her for his birth mother. Eun-young said if he had come looking for her, she definitely would have recognized him.
같습니다.
Not long after arriving in Seoul, Chung-moon spotted a photo of young Eun-young at a bookstore, so he bought all her books, comparing them with his childhood photos. He realized she was the woman he had searched for all his life. The next day, he went to her workplace, but seeing how successful and well-known she had become, he felt small. He worked up the courage to ask her for an autograph, and when she asked his name, he couldn't bring himself to tell the truth, so he used his English name, Matthew. Eun-young signed her name, and even added a heartfelt message. Back home, he stared at those words, and found them bitterly ironic. Only he knew how miserable his life had been. He hated himself for not being brave, and hated her for abandoning him, but he didn't want to cause her any trouble. In the end, he passed away quietly, sick and heartbroken. Eun-young felt deeply guilty for not recognizing him. She asked if she could keep his belongings. John was grateful for her words. On their way home, they saw Eun-young on a giant screen, sharing the story of Chung-moon's life, calling on the government to help orphans find real families. Watching her speak, they felt comforted, but deep down, was that really the whole truth?